Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and I am by myself today because Neon is elsewhere. I thought this was absolutely hilarious, and it shouldn't be a surprise to most anyone. One of the biggest ripoffs, according to Tripadvisor reviews and surveys, is Walt Disney World. It's the #1 ripoff for theme parks. When people were asked what they think are big ripoffs in their lives, or in different categories, theme parks being one of them, Walt Disney World was #1. Shocker. Say it ain't so. Anyway, before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo. Woohoo! And we're going to talk about this. So casino.org put out this article, right? They're talking about America's biggest ripoffs. And we're going to talk about other ripoffs too, because I agree with them on many of these. And they even have it broken down by the state about what's the biggest ripoff in the states and stuff. But if you look at here, their key highlights. Disney World ranks as the #1 biggest U.S. tourist attraction ripoff, according to the people, 5,000 participants. They did 5,000 participant survey, and they said it is the #1 tourist attraction ripoff. They also said that college textbooks, credit scores, and movie theater snacks are also among the top 3. College textbooks, I completely agree with you. Like, Squid King is in college, and you can buy books and then resell them back, like you did with the GameStop with the games, and it was kind of pointless because they don't give you any money, and then turn around and sell a used copy for almost brand new price next semester. Now they have a thing where you have to rent the books online, and you only are given 3 months, 4-month window, which is a semester worth, and you pay $200 or $300 to rent it, and then after the time period's up, it just deletes it so you can't see it anymore. It is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about passing laws for price gouging. The books for college should be #1 on the list of things to look into, because it's insane. They overcharge these books to begin with. Used copies are ridiculously expensive, but now the digital copies that you're renting. You think, okay, I'm not buying a book, I'm renting a textbook. It should be $30. No. It's at a zero. And I wish I was kidding. So, they talk about different things. I guess they went through surveys, and they went through the Tripadvisor reviews and things like that to find these. And they were talking about the textbooks, and they're talking about the credit scores. God, I'll talk about that later because I have to get to the point. But I have so many things. But they get down here and they're talking about attractions. And they said, following the Tripadvisor results for the top 10 U.S. attractions, we asked participants to rank what they thought was the biggest to least ripoffs according to their experiences. 60% of respondents conclude that Disney World is the biggest ripoff for U.S. attractions. The happiest place on earth turns out to be the most scammy place on earth, too, as its top attraction ranks #1 for ripoffs. And it's starting at $109 per person for a basic ticket. It's ridiculous. They keep raising prices every year, and the $109 is the start price. In California, they were given a lot more base price tickets compared to Florida. They were a lot more days they could get $109. But it doesn't get you much. It just gets your butt in the door. That's it. That doesn't account for, hotel stays. They were talking about the new Pixar hotel or Disneyland. They have it's not new. It was the old hotel, which was considered a value hotel. And they basically just rethemed it to Pixar. And now they're charging $500 a night for the value hotel because they've slapped Pixar shit on it. I wish I was making this crap up. Now, California in general, the hotel prices are much worse than they are in Disney World. But you have a lot more range at Disney World. You can get the value resorts, which are way more expensive than they used to be, clear up to deluxe, and things like that. And then they have the DVC buy-ins and stuff. And you can find hotels there that are hundreds, thousands of dollars a night. But you have a wider range for your budget. It's still all overpriced because you can go down to Disney Springs to one of the good neighbor hotels and pay far less and get, a much better room. But the slapping Disney on it and charging a whole bunch of money and saying it's a Disney difference is getting old. And then when they're asked to pay taxes on that, they don't want Disney brand to be, figured in for how much taxes they should have to pay, because that's, a non-tangible, but they use it all the time to justify their upcharges. It's ridiculous. Disney is ridiculous. The second place was the National Mall because it's free, but once again, you're running into the cost of the places nearby and things like that. Now, here's the thing on Magic Guides talking about how much does it cost to go to Disney World, average prices for 2024. Now, we just started. It's yet to be seen. They're going to probably raise it again. So they said, an average, a typical 2024 week-long visit to Walt Disney World for a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children. Children mean you have to be between the ages of 3 and 9. So if you got a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, they're considered an adult. Okay. It's going to cost you about $6,600, $6,559. We'll just round up to $6,600. And that's based on a 7-night hotel stay. This is clearly a value resort at $185 per night plus the tax. Yeah, they're staying at All-Star Sports, which I don't recommend staying at the music or the sports. You might like them, but there are much better hotels. They're kind of, at that point, you're better to go to Disney Springs. 6 days of standard theme park tickets without hopper or anything, $117 per person per day. Okay, so that's if you're lucky enough to get those days. A lot of other days are more. They said that, no park hopping, 1 park. Most common price point found throughout the year for a 6-day ticket is $117 per day. 278 days of the year fall between $107 and $127. Children receive a slight discount, around $5 per day or less compared to adult pricing. Then you have to add your Genie Plus and Lightning lanes. They're averaging at $25 a day. It can go higher, it can go lower. But it used to be you would get into the parks and then you could get on attractions. Or you get your FastPass Plus and they would be free and you got to pick like 3. And then after you got through those 3, you can go add more if you wanted to. And you could get on to things easy. You can plan out far in advance. Not now. No. Why give that away for free when we can upcharge you more? So now if you want to actually get in the park and get early, get faster access to rides, you're talking a $25 per person per day upcharge on top of your ticket price. And that doesn't count if you want to pay for any direct Lightning Lane access where they have you can pay for just the ride. They Rise Resistance uses it or whatever. If you want to just pay for line access, you can pay $20 per person or whatever it is now and just go through the line that way as well. On top of your Genie Plus, on top of your ticket price. It is flipping ridiculous. This is why the parks offset the losses in the last earnings call, because they're nickel and diming the shit out of people. A 7-night Disney quick service dining plan, if you want to do the dining plans, and that's quick service only, you're probably better off just to pay out of pocket for quick service, in my opinion. It might be worth it if you're doing the ones that have the sit downs too. But if you're just doing quick service, I honestly don't think it's worth it. I think that they overcharge for this. And they even said it only covers 2 meals per day plus 1 snack, which a lot of times you can use a snack as a breakfast if you want to. They have breakfast type items that are snacks. And then additional $20 per person per day if you want other food because you're still hungry. So you're averaging $70 or $80 to $50, $55 or $45 per person, depending on your adult or kid, a day to eat. All right. Food prices are ridiculous. And honestly, some of the food things you can get at the quick service, they're so big, you can split it in half and be completely full. It depends on where you go. The dining plan, when they were giving it for free or they're giving it for a discount and it gets rolled into your package, it might be worth it. But if you're paying out of pocket, I usually don't recommend it because they give you so much. You're going to be getting so much food anyway. You probably could just get a couple meals and split them. And if it's hot, you're not going to want to eat a lot anyway. And then maybe you want to get ice cream or something later. It's still going to be cheaper for you than it is to go for these dining plans. But all this combined for a week, it's going to be about $6,560 for a family of 4. Now, if you have kids that are adults, well, that are 10 and up, which, 10-year-olds, adult, just ask Disney. You're going to pay a lot more money for that because the hotel room's not going to change really, but your cost per tickets are going to change. Your dining plan or what you're allowed to order will change. You can order the kids stuff, but this will go up to $57 per day for everyone, which is twice as much as a child. And that adds up after 7 days. It's going to be a lot more. So that's the basis for this. And that's giving you a cheap ass room. All right. This is why people think it is the biggest ripoff, because I love Disney. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody should go to Disney at least once if it's something they want to do. I grew up going to Disney. Disney used to be the destination to go to. It was like the gold standard of places to go. But it's not so much the case anymore. You can go to Disney, but you can also go to other theme parks that give you as good of an experience or close to it for a lot less money. Or you're still going to pay a lot, but it might not be as bad as like going to Walt Disney World. I know a lot of states have theme parks that I think are definitely, there's ones like you go to it, like we have Disney at Home, and Disney at Home is like, 2 rides and 3 stands of food, and it's all like, and then the rest are all kiddie rides. That's not what I'm talking about. But like if you would go to, I think Kennywood, for example, they don't have Halloween Horror Nights, but they have their Phantom Fall Fest. And now it's not as good as like Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, and the fact that Halloween Horror Nights, they have the money for better stuff, and they also have the rights to a lot more horror IP and things like that than they get to use at places in Kennywood. But it's really, really good for what it is. And if you don't have the money to go to Halloween Horror Nights, going to Kennywood's Phantom Fall Fest is not that much different. It's a little bit, underneath it, obviously, but it's still really well done. And my kids, they liked it better than going to Halloween Horror Nights in some ways. And the cost is much more affordable. Now, if you go out to Hershey Park, you're going to be paying out the nose there too. And I don't think, where it's more like a Disney park, I still think it's not worth it. Dollywood's a really good option. There are a lot of really good theme parks that give Disney a run for its money now. They're not the only one. Universal, again, it can be pricey, but it's still usually cheaper than Walt Disney World by a significant amount. Disney is just becoming so overpriced, it is ridiculous. And now they're just being listed as #1 ripoff for theme parks in this survey. And I'm not surprised, because everybody's over it. If you want to go by all means. But you understand, you better, whatever you plan on saving, save extra, because they keep raising prices on stuff, adding expenses for this, making you pay for that. They're nickel and diming you to offset the cost for other stuff. And if they're going to spend $60 billion on theme park investitures, then they're not going to want to pay it themselves. They're going to pass on the expense to you. But back to the other article. Actually, they have some different things by states that they consider the biggest ripoff in states. Alaska, visiting a glacier. I'll just randomly pull some out. California, Disneyland, because of course. Connecticut, Yale. Well, Florida, Disney World. Illinois, Lollapalooza. Indiana, Indy 500. Louisiana, the French Quarter. Minnesota, the Mall of America. They go down here. Nevada, the Strip. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Cedar Point, Ohio. A lot of our theme parks. Pennsylvania, Hershey Park, 100% agree with you on that. Hershey Park is a complete ripoff. I'm not a fan of it. The Ben & Jerry's Factory Tour in Vermont. I can't speak today. You see what I'm saying. Each state has their own. Some I would argue are much bigger ripoffs than the other ones. But the general consensus from this survey, I think if you ask people, if you would go out and survey people on your own, you're probably going to find that unless you're a diehard Disney fan, most people are thinking that Disney is out of their price range and that it's too expensive and that it's not worth the cost. But anyway, you might disagree, and that's fine. What do you think? Comment and let us know, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.